And with us, we have the Rockford City Challenge's first ever champion, Guilford High School, and Coach Mel Gilfillan. Hey, Coach, good to have you on today.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Hey, last year that was kind of exciting. You guys really showed the Rockford City schools that you guys could play some pretty good football, and you had some great games last year. And as a matter of fact, you were like second play, 8-2 on the year, right?
Yeah, we had a great year. It was one of our best seasons, and like I said, we had a really good senior class last year that really played hard every week.
How much fun was that last year to kind of have that bounce back year? I know the year before it didn't kind of go the way you wanted and not what you guys were used to there at Guilford. How nice was that to have a big bounce back like that?
Well, it was great. I mean, the school got behind us, and the kids were excited, and we're known as a football school. We've been to the playoffs 8 of the last 10 years, and our guys expect to be able to compete from week to week. We had two bad years in a row, and I don't really think it was anything to do with how good of a team we were, but we just couldn't keep everybody on the field. And last year we had 0 guys miss games. We had no eligibility problems, and we played hard each week.
Enough about last year now. So what do you guys? How's practice going so far? What are you guys looking like for this year?
Well, I think we look real competitive once again. We have all 5 starters from the offensive line back, and one of the best quarterbacks we've ever had in the Musso kid. So on offense, we look really strong and really sharp on defense. Like I said, we lost a bunch of kids, but we have a ton of excellent athletes, and we're just trying to get Holly Kinks worked out and ready to go.
Yeah, and I think you lose one of your great kids. He won the Rockford City Challenge MVP, Delano Clanton. Is it easy to replace him, or does it take a little work, Coach?
Well, he was real good, and it's not easy to replace him, but I think we have we have a certain mold. We like to fit certain defensive positions, and we just look for kids. We really don't play too many big kids on defense. We play the 11 fastest kids we can, and that's the philosophy we've always used, and we've always usually played pretty good defense. So I think we'll be able to put a pretty good defense back out in the field, and the nice thing this year is I think we'll be able to score some points. So.
It's always nice when you have a quarterback coming back. Well, when you've got one as talented as you've got coming back, how nice is that, and to be able to maybe just open things up some on the offense and do some new things?
Well, yeah, I mean, in the past we've struggled throwing the ball, and then people have been able to load the box on us and really just try and concentrate on stopping our run. And right now, I mean, he throws the ball better than anybody we've ever had, and I think one of the best in the league I've seen in the 14 years I've been here. So that it really does. It opens things up. It makes you much harder to defend. So we're excited to see where we go.
Musso had to sit out a year, right, because he transferred back from Boylan, and last year was really his first year back for a while, and he really developed as the season went along. Every time I would watch him, I would be more impressed with how he was picking up some leadership and also running that offense.
Yeah, he is. He's a good kid, and also a lot of people don't realize he's a big kid. I mean, he's probably close to 200 pounds, so when he runs the ball, it's like a fullback running it. So we're excited, and he's definitely a talent.
You guys have always had a good relationship with the soccer team there and helping out the special teams. Do you guys have something like that this year where you can kind of get a leg up there, no pun intended, on the special teams?
Yeah, well, we have the same kid we had last year back, and he's also improved quite a bit. His name is Rogelio Erigine, and he kicked for us last year, and his kickoffs and everything were outstanding. I can't remember how many he had inside that, but he's good. He's very, very accurate. He was knocking them through for 40 and 45 yesterday consistently. So we're, I gave up on trying to teach a kid how to kick a long time ago. Just go grab a soccer player and, get him out to practice every day. And those kids just, they know how to do it. So.
I know a couple of years ago, was it Anderson kid you had that he just kicked the light? Who was the kid you had a couple of years ago with punt and went to Northern Illinois for a little bit and all that? That kid could really kick. You always had great kickers, Coach.
Yeah, and they're all soccer players. We just try to find one when they're a freshman or sophomore and stick them out there and figure out which one wants to stick around, and they usually do a real good job for us.
It's interesting. Back in the old days when you worked with some of those real old coaches, they wouldn't do that. It doesn't hurt, does it, to have somebody that can just take that pressure off of you?
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic. And plus, you really cannot teach a kid that doesn't, have that leg swing like these guys do how to do it. So, to tell you the truth, the first time you get one of them out and put a ball on the tee, they knock the heck out of it. You just got to teach them where you want it.
You've been around the conference for a while now. You're the dean of the coaches. You've really seen a lot of changes. When you look at the conference this year, how tough is it going to be knowing that, some team could be really good but maybe have, 5 or 6 losses, and for the first time in a while, we could maybe even have a conference champion with 1 or 2 losses.
It wouldn't surprise me. I think we've got a bunch of teams that can get out there and play on Friday. So, I still don't, really have an idea. I think Boylan is at the top of the league, and
mm-hmm.
I don't know how you can say they're not until somebody actually beats them. But after that, I think there should be a whole bunch of competition and a whole bunch of teams mixing it up. So it should be fun. I mean, you got to be ready to play every Friday, that's for sure.
Last year when you won that Rockford City Challenge, I know a lot of people kept talking, Auburn's going to win this thing, Auburn's going to win this thing. You guys played probably one of your best games, most exciting games I saw last year is when you beat Auburn. So you guys have really got that championship attitude in the back of your mind, don't you? I mean, this could be Guilford's year to win the Nick 10.
Well, you never know. And, I'm not a big guy on predictions now.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell our kids I want to get better each week. We want to play hard. The only thing we're thinking about right now is beating Jefferson. And trying to show get our right guys in our right spots, and we'll compete each Friday. We don't care who's. This is where I try to instill our kids. We don't care who we're playing on Friday. Just get out there and play your hardest and play your best and leave it all out there. And, when they listen and when they believe and when they get behind that, that idea, we're real competitive.
I saw you late in the school year. You had your Duck Dynasty beard. Do you still have that, Coach?
No, all gone. Too hot out.
You look pretty good with that. Pretty handsome with that thing on there.
Yeah, well, it's a little rough to bring that one through the summer, so.
There we go. Thanks so much, Coach, and good luck. I'll be at that Jefferson game. Looking forward to it.
All right, thank you very much.
We've been talking to Mel Gilfillan, the head football coach. Guilford and Gilfillan always do that, too.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's tough to get together there.
Mel Gilfillan, the head football coach at Guilford. They did win the Rockford City Challenge last year. They got a good football team, and Musso is a good quarterback, folks.
Yeah, I think that's a team that some people do kind of forget about, And you're absolutely right. I think they do have a shot to win the Nick 10, if nothing else, They're going to have a quarterback as,
He's a big boy, like he said.
He's as good as anybody else. I know Demery Croft, is probably... Everybody would probably agree is the best, and he's got the Division I scholarship right now and all that. But Musso's not that far behind him. He's a pretty good player.
He can play college ball.
Yes, he can, and he probably will. At what level we'll find out, but I'm sure he'll play somewhere. But you look at that, when you got a quarterback like that coming back, it gives you such a leg up on the competition. And you're absolutely right. I mean, if things fall in the right place, if they get the right kids stepping up, that's a team that absolutely could be right there at the end of the year.
And they always had a bunch of big guys. I think the way it sounds, they got a bunch of big guys back. I mean, they're big and they're athletic too.
Yeah, and that's one thing that they've always kind of stood out from the other city schools over the years is, they've had that size, so they can compete with the Boylans, Harlems, Hononigas at times because they've had the size. Because that's usually where those 3 teams have been able to kind of overwhelm you, is they get those big kids, and if the other teams don't have it, they wear you down. Guilford's never had that problem.
They will miss Clanton.
Yes, they will. He's a good ball player.
He talked about him defense. He played a lot of offense, too.
Oh, yeah, he did everything for him there.
And they had a big guy that was a captain. I can't tell you this name, but he had a blue mohawk, the Guilford Blue. That guy scared me. That would scare me if I'm out there playing. So that should be pretty good. I'll tell you what, it's going to be a great year in the Nick 10.
It really is.
And congratulations. Last year, people forget they beat Harlem.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They beat one of the big... We haven't talked about the big 3 much. You know why? Because I think the big 3 people are knocking on the door now.
Yeah, they absolutely are. They beat Harlem last year. I know Auburn gave some of them some tough games there. Belvedere North almost knocking off Boylan there and whatnot. So, yeah, it doesn't feel like as much of a big 3 anymore. I mean, obviously, there's still a big 1 until somebody knocks them off.
Yeah.
But even that gap feels like it's closing some.
Yeah, Guilford Jefferson, first game in the Rockford City Challenge. Will be interesting to find out about Jefferson and their rebuild they're doing.
Exactly.
Okay, that's going to wrap it up for this August the 16th, Pigskin Preview Day. We had 3 coaches on. Glad you could join us. For Tom Warner, our producer, and Matt Nestor, this is Dave Schmidt saying we will see you next week.